Hey everyone, welcome to DMI Live. It is the 1st of 2026. Happy New Year and all that jazz to everyone. Hope everyone has survived so far. Tonight we are going to be looking at it's an EFDawah video, but we've got the Muslim Lantern there as well. When it's Abbas and Muslim Lantern at Speaker's Corner, and they're talking about various embarrassing hadiths. And so we're going to go through this. It should be a bit of fun. Help you get over any kind of, long-term effects of your hangovers from New Year's and stuff like that. I have with me, as usual, Mr. Stop Spamming. Welcome back to the channel, mate.
How's it?
It's all good. We're living in a new world order now where Trump can be our master at any moment if he decides to kidnap,
Yeah, he's going to start running Europe soon.
Well, maybe Keir Starmer is going to be kidnapped too. I mean, probably a few people happy about that, actually. But 2026 has already gone off to a crazy damn start. So, it's almost nice to see a familiar, comfortable madness at Speaker's Corner compared to what's already going on in the world. So, hey to everyone in the chat so far. There's only a few people around at the moment. I understand probably everyone is a bit, got those January blues, but hopefully we're going to cheer you up tonight. It's worth noting that I've also quit smoking, so I am quite cranky at the moment. It is day 4, so I'm starting to feel better today.
Wow.
I was thinking of putting on a lot more angry a video, so I could have got my frustrations out, but I'm feeling a bit better today, so we're doing something more lighthearted.
Yeah, so, the first 2 weeks, I remember the first 2 weeks are the worst. Then you get over it. Really, I promise you will get over it. You can do it.
No. I mean,
it's easy. I've done it like 6 times.
No, and to be honest, after the first 3 days, it does feel easier, and we are on the 4th day, so I'm getting through it, and and I'm also not drinking anything as well, so healthy January, that kind of stuff. So
for me, the worst was coffee.
Why quit coffee? Coffee's not too bad for you, is it?
No, I mean, drinking coffee while I was stopping smoking.
Oh, right, yeah, coffee and cigarette, that's a good combo, isn't it? Yeah. Right, okay, with all that natter out of the way, I hope everyone is feeling good today. So, yeah, we're at Speaker's Corner. We've got Muslim Lantern and Abbas. They're talking to, I'm pretty sure he's a Christian guy, because they mentioned he's a mate of Hatun Tash's. And he's challenging him over various kind of embarrassing hadiths around stoning and sheep eating, Quran hadiths and adult breastfeeding. It's all good fun today. So with that long intro, let's kick this off. And
let me just start off with something, because I bumped into a meta study, like 60 odd studies that they sort of analyzed, and they found out, yes, there is a correlation between intelligence and religiosity, because 1,000 years ago, Al-Mari already said there's 2 types of people, the ones with intelligence and the ones with religion. And this is what they found, that there is a correlation. The less intelligence you have, the more you rely on religiosity and gods.
So there you go. If you're a theist in the audience, stops us just in...
No, you have to prove us wrong. This is the whole point. So what I was going to say, if you feel agitated, if you feel that I'm talking about you, please prove us wrong, or me wrong, or the study, or whatever.
Okay, then, there you go. There's a challenge. Right, let's get into this video. We'll see what they got at Speaker's Corner.
Brother,
I'm
the
expecting
Prophet
this from
says
Abbas.
10 times. This was abrogated to
There's
5
no video.
times in the end. I don't know when, but it was 5 times. So she went back.
Was that a movie that you were seeing or something?
No.
Because that doesn't exist in our narration.
It doesn't exist. All right, let me finish the story. Let me finish the story, then you tell me.
The way you made it.
So she goes back, she does this, then she reports to the Prophet that everything's fine with her husband. Then Muhammad then gives this Sharia to his wives. Now his wives had people visiting them before, but once this came into force, they then had to get somebody to suckle the men that wanted to visit. So by suckling, they become relatives. And that's what they used to do. They used to get their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their aunties. Then they got fed up with this, that every time a man wanted to visit them, they had to get him to suckle someone. So once the Prophet had died, this is from Aisha.
I'm listening.
Yeah. She
I'm just going to pause it right there. We will take a look at some of these are authentic hadiths that he's referring to. These mostly come out of the book of Suckling, appropriately, and that is, I believe is it Sahih Muslim? I think it is. I will go through some of these hadiths and stuff, and we'll look at it just to confirm what he's saying, because as usual, the Dawa guys go into complete denialism about this. But just to say, I'll kind of pause the video at some point, and we'll take a look at some of these hadiths.
Said that the verses about the suckling that were in the Quran, brother, just want to tell you something. They were in the Quran. These verses were in the Quran, and brother, the sheep ate it.
Camera, come and stand on this side.
And then the sheep came in to her bedroom. She was distracted because of Muhammad's death, and the sheep ate the verses that were under her pillow. And there was also verses for her because she committed adultery, but Allah had mercy on her and sent down verses to Muhammad not to do anything to her. So the verses about the adultery and the verses about the tame sheep were in the Quran, and if you read the Quran properly, there's a gap where it's referred to about these verses, and there's a gap where these verses have been taken out because they've been eaten by sheep. And I'd just like an explanation.
Right. It's also worth saying at this point that I think the ones about the actual sheep eating the Quranic verses, again, they are in a hadith, but I'm not sure if it's one of the 6 kind of considered most authentic hadith collections. I think it comes out of Ibn Majah or something like that. I'm not sure. Do you happen to remember all this stuff? I know you've covered this a number of times in the past.
Yeah, I have, but I've forgotten which one it comes out of. I actually thought that it's Tirmidhi.
No, I think it's. I'll double check because I've got some sources that I can.
Okay, then you go check because I was just going to go off into this.
I mean, you can have a look while we're kind of doing the video if you want, but I mean, I have got a few bits and pieces which I can kind of. I don't want to flip too much between screens though, because then the video comes off and on again. But yeah, so I think that there is some argument over the sheep eating versus being kind of a weaker hadith, but the whole suckling thing, that is kind of authentic. So
Sunan Ibn Majah.
Majah, yeah, that's what I thought. So I don't think is he. I don't think he's one of the main 6, is he? I think he's still considered fairly strong, but not like in the top 6. So they by their own rules, they've got a slight kind of. I'll give them a little bit of room to maneuver on the sheep eating one, because there is some discussions over whether they've got a strong enough chain of narration, but only for that particular part of it. All the suckling stuff is authentic. So. Right, should we carry on, see what else? Well, we'll see what Muslim Lantern's got to say in response.
Okay, that's done.
Now you got the good aspect.
That's okay, right? That's everything, right? Now you allow me to speak because I allowed you to speak. Okay, right. Everything you mentioned right now, right? Can you show it to me in our narrations and in the Quran, right? You claim that there is a verse about suckling, which is rida', yeah, rida' al-kabir, yeah. You claim that that existed in the Quran. It was eaten by sheep, etc., 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 right? Can you provide evidence for that? Number 1, yeah. Number 2, you claimed a story, I don't know where you heard, that a woman came, she was saying a stranger coming to her house, and that stranger is not a mihram, right? Can you please provide that there was a stranger coming? There was a stranger coming to the...
Are you aware of the Quran? Yeah, but are you aware of the Quran?
Alhamdulillah, can I finish?
Are you aware of the Quran?
I am. Can I finish? Okay.
Yep, of course.
Sure. Can you please...
Yeah, I'm just going to stop it here because this does piss me off, and this is a typical Muslim Lantern tactic, and to be fair, a Dawa tactic. Now, he knows that the core of what this guy is saying is in the authentic hadith. Now, you might be able to argue a few little bits around the edges on the exact way he's phrased stuff, but him asking for details like this is just fucking game playing. He knows that there is an entire book on suckling, on breastfeeding, which includes includes several hadiths about adult breastfeeding and all the rest of it. So he does know this story. So this is just a way to try and like throw him off and waste time. And it really annoys me because, these videos would be half the length and they wouldn't get half as much support from Muslims if he didn't have all this distraction technique going on. So to me, it's not lying, but it's definitely a form of deception because he's asking for things which he knows are in the hadith and that he would actually agree with.
Okay, this is Sahih Muslim 1452.
Yeah, well, as I say, I've got all these ones. I've got sunnah.com, which I will kind of flip to in a bit. But did you want to read out that particular hadith? I can't remember how long or short it is. Stops. I mean, we can.
It was narrated. Where am I? Sorry. It was narrated by Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari. It was revealed in the Quran that 10 definite breastfeedings are required to establish the relationship of mahram. Then it was also revealed that 5 definite breastfeedings are required.
Yeah. And that was Sahih Muslim, isn't it? Did you say?
Sahih Muslim 1452.
Yeah. So therefore, and it's Mahrem, isn't it? This is where you are considered basically. So the idea is if you do enough breastfeedings with a, with a person, they essentially become as if they're a relative, and therefore they are forbidden for marriage and sex and that kind of thing, and therefore it's a way of essentially allowing the males to be able to come around the wives of Muhammad or the other female relatives and stuff without there being this kind of worry about sex, because technically they're supposed to be married. And this is supposed to be achieved initially through you have to breastfeed them 10 times. And then that was supposed to have been abrogated to just 5 times. But these are the Quranic verses that are supposedly missing. So that's the kind of basic idea behind it. All right, we'll play on and see what else he got.
Please allow me to. Can you please show me these narrations? Yeah. So you have 3 narrations to show me. 3 narrations. Yeah. First narration is.
You don't have to go through it all.
I'm making my question.
No, you don't need to. It's here.
I need to.
It's here.
Let me finish the question.
Well, only if you want to make yourself important.
What was my question?
I just want to know.
What was my question?
See, I like this guy because he can see the tactics. This whole thing of let me go right back to the start and fucking repeat everything and center myself in the conversation. I like this guy. As I say, I think he's a Christian guy, but he understands that bullshit tactic and he's calling him out on it. He does this all the time on his damn live streams. And this is an interesting comment as well. Sorry, just a bit stops. I just want to read this one. Muslim Lantern used to let me on before he had 20,000 subs. Now I'm banned. Yeah, he likes to ban people. He'll stop people from leaving comments, etc. Yeah, he has a very controlled environment to try to make himself look good. Now, and I've said we've talked about this on a number of different videos about him, but it's worth mentioning. And I like this video because this Christian guy doesn't take any shit from him, which is pretty good. Stop. Sorry, did you want to say something?
No. I just said it's a good point. I'm very happy that other people are picking this up as well, and it's I mean, that's the way that it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as I say, even though there might be certain aspects you can argue with this Christian guy, I mean, I would say he probably should have had his sources a little bit better prepared overall, but he knows the Dawah tactics well. And it's funny that they even put this up because I think this makes Muslim Lantern look really bad because he's shown just to be all this performative stuff. It's just trickery. This guy just wants to get down to the point, and that's yeah, I do like him.
You want to know where I'm getting this evidence from?
No,
here it is. This is what I've written down.
It was not.
Just read the evidence. Read the evidence. Don't make yourself important.
That's the first question.
Just read the evidence.
First question.
No, because we're going to be here all day and all night, and they play around, brother.
I believe I was listening. I was listening to you.
Yes, and I'm answering your question. You asked me to show you the evidence.
Andy.
Did you?
He asked me to show you the evidence.
Andy, but you were given an opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is right. Sorry, this same Michael in the chat there. Right, pepper him with questions when he goes to answer one. Say, what were all my questions? Yeah, and there's the other tactic here as well. This is to constantly throw you off your train of thought as well. These stupid interruptions, let's summarize everything for absolutely no bloody reason in before I don't go on to answer questions. Like, you don't need to summarize it. What's been said has been said clearly. So it's all distraction technique. It's all to just try and throw you off, and then they can get on their little Dawah trick. And this Christian guy, man, I got to give him props. I've never actually seen him on any of these videos before, but he's good.
Yes.
Andy, hold on a second.
But he asked for the evidence.
Hold on, Andy. Hold on.
Oh, and this is the other tactic. Abbas, who is useless in this conversation, he'll also throw in as well. That's another classic Dawah tactic. Let me interrupt when you haven't fallen for the other guy's thing. I'll kind of like come in at the side and try and fuck with you that way. So he does well considering he's got it's 2-on-1.
You were given an opportunity to speak. You might not like the way the brother's constructing his answer, but Andy, hold on. you will get another opportunity.
He's asked
Andy,
me, and I'm referring.
you will get another opportunity to come in there if you're not happy with the way the brother.
Yeah, I love that. First of all, the arrogance, the way he says that. You'll get an opportunity. It's Speaker's Corner, mate. It's not your private fucking live stream. You don't get to tell people who can speak or not. But secondly, it's also like this idea of, oh yeah, you'll get a chance to come in. Once he's blabbered on for like 5 minutes and gone off on 3 separate tangents, then you've got to try and remember what your point was. Then we'll give you a chance to speak. And then when maybe you might have been thrown off a bit, we could say, see, look at how weak their arguments are. They can't take the dawah and all this kind of shit. So all of it is just so manipulative.
Now, the discussion that we actually had was primarily about suckling adults.
Yes.
That's the question.
Yes.
So let's not worry about goats. Let's not worry about...
Well, we are. Of course we're going to worry about goats.
Andy,
goats is the evidence that these verses were in the Quran.
Andy,
these verses were in the Quran and had been eaten by a tamed sheep or a tamed goat. They're there. And if you read the Quran, it will refer to these verses
Andy, please
that have
not be
been lost.
disingenuous.
I mean, it's good. He is solid performance.
He reminds me of Jay Smith.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I don't agree. Obviously, we're not theists. We don't agree with what the Christians are kind of saying in terms of their worldview. But I do have to give them props because they know how to handle these Dawah guys at Speaker's Corner. And also, again, Abbas has been so dishonest because he's saying like, oh, you know, you're going on about goats or sheep or whatever, and like as if like it is directly related. It is half of the thing that he's talking about there. So he's pretending as if, oh, you're trying to go off on some tangent. No, this is exactly what the fucking topic is. So, yes, that
what is Muslim Lantern doing? Is he checking up on this?
He's doom scrolling, trying to get desperate answers from his mobile phone, because it just goes to show how quiet he gets, and this is why he needs a back there, because when he's doing his live stream, he can cut out all these bits where he's looking stuff up and trying to pretend as if he's like he knows every hadith and he knows every Quran verse. Yeah, that looks good when you've cut your video for your YouTube, but in the live stream, he's not so slick, and this kind of proves it because this is an EFDawah video, so Muslim Lantern is not controlling it.
Please,
but you're trying to dictate what the evidence is and what I should read.
Please stay calm. Stay calm. You have a specific argument, right? Let's stick. Right.
So he can't now deny his
I think Hatun was quoting Sahih Muslim, and she was saying this is the hadith, and it's about an adult suckling a grown woman. That is what you were talking about, right?
Yep.
So let's not go into the peripherals of all sorts of different issues, because quite frankly, that's the
issues?
The issue that you want dealt with is that issue there, right?
The evidence and the proof that this existed
was
in the Quran. These verses were put under Aisha's pillow, and the tame sheep came in.
That's why I don't have discussions.
This is evidence
to begin.
And they're in denial. They don't want it brought up.
Let him give you an answer, right? Let him give you an answer.
The problem, Abbas, with having discussions with people is that these people need to be rational, right?
Yeah.
See, so now another time delaying technique, because he's just trying to buy time, basically, because he was looking up on his iPhone. He obviously couldn't find out what he wanted to. So it's just worth pointing out there. So now he's going to go on another fucking diatribe about how, oh, no, you know, it's hard to talk to these guys or whatever. Just get to the point.
I'm known here to come speak. I don't come much, right? But the people I come with are rational people.
Right.
I allow them to...
Yeah, well, we can tell why you don't come much, because you're outside of your safe space, aren't you? And you don't look so hot when you are.
Speak, finish the sentences. They allow me to speak and finish my sentences as well. If he allows me to do this courtesy, I can have a discourse with him, a conversation, right? If he cannot, I will definitely have to go.
I understand.
Right?
So can you just deal with what his primary thing was about, the suckling of an adult?
Sure. Can you give me the reference of that?
Okay.
So I can open it and read it.
There's references there.
Which one?
I don't come here to be a scholar. I put these in here to just remind me, that's all. So if you know your Quran, if you know your hadith, you'll know where to find them.
That's in the hadith, not in the Quran.
Yeah, but there's a surah there as well.
Let him find it out.
Andy, let's have a sensible discussion.
Andy, I think
hopefully
your argument is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let them dominate.
It's not about dominating,
It is, brother.
Andy.
It is, brother.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Any Muslims watching here, this is the real Muslim Lantern. He doesn't have this encyclopedic knowledge of Islam as he tries to portray himself. He tries to pretend that he's memorized basically the whole Quran and most of the hadith. And look at him struggling. This is and the thing is, I don't blame him or anything. Like, I've got to look stuff up. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff either. But I don't try and portray myself as that. And if I'm going to do a video, I'm going to do the research and make sure I've got the proper hadith and stuff like that. Muslim Lantern wants to portray himself as this like awesome guy. This is him struggling on his phone, trying to find stuff. That's the real Muslim Lantern.
Nobody wants to dominate you, Andy.
It is, brother. I love you, but I've got to tell you the truth.
It's not like
you
that at all.
all try to dominate.
It's not about
I'm fair.
It's
I'm
not
listening
about
to him.
dominating,
I'm
Andy.
waiting for him, but I'm not letting people
Andy,
dominate.
it's not about dominating
It is.
anybody. I don't
It
know why
is.
you look at it as a challenge.
Because I come
that
here
sense.
every week and I hate the way you treat people.
You see the way that I talk to people. I offer them the courtesy to be able to speak, and then I speak, and that's how it should be.
Of course.
Yeah, but you
But
said
not then to tell me, oh, let's not go to the peripheries. The peripheries are that these verses in the Quran were under Aisha's pillow. A tame sheep got in and ate them.
You are conflating issues here, aren't you?
Conflating issues.
I'll tell you why. Because what
The evidence is being
What
conflated.
you're referring to is hadith in your question, and what you're talking about.
He's asked him to answer his question.
Well, he's doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Quoted
Exactly.
Quranic ayah.
Now he feels
Exactly.
it's 2 to 1.
See, I mean, look at how long Muslim Lantern is doing this for now. I don't see. This is another reason I want to play this video. I wanted some like real-time live stuff that shows that he's not this like awesome Dawah guy, that he really does struggle.
Let him answer this. That's
Okay.
all he's at, because I think he's got a reasonable question. Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's
You're
fair.
right.
Please, can
I think
you
I
show
need
that
you to stand next to you a lot more, actually, to calm people down, so we can have a discussion rather than a fight.
We could.
Yeah.
3:1.
Andy stays calm.
How is that a surah? 316. It says there's only 114.
See, what happens
No,
often
3:116.
is that you have
31.
people who show up to the park.
Surah.
They've obviously planned a particular discussion that they wish to have.
Christ, I'm almost tempted to skip it, but you know what? When I first watched this video, I didn't realise they took this long to actually get to the point. Maybe should I just sort of maybe skip it forward a little bit until he's actually?
No, I think you're making a good point here. That even though the Christian guy Andy has given Muslim Lantern the reference, Muslim Lantern seems to see this for the first time in his life. So he is now scanning what he can use to go and somehow deflate this. And I think he's not having much joy there.
Well, this is the thing. As I say, I think he will know that this suckling stuff, adult breastfeeding stuff, is in the authentic hadiths. And I think you're exactly right. What he's trying to do is, how can I try and minimize this in some way? Find some obscure hadith. And I think he ends up coming up with something which I wasn't even able to check. He comes up with something that's only in Arabic, and he just mentions a page number or something. But I couldn't tell whether this was supposed to be a hadith collection or a tafsir, the way he said it. So I'm skeptical when he actually finally does come up with it. But yeah, he's just scrolling to try and find anything he can.
And I don't understand why they go and say, well, this hadith is not Sahih. Well, then what the hell are the other hadiths there for? Why don't they just go and delete them? Why don't they just go and burn them and have your I don't know, your 20 books that are relevant, and keep those, and all the 5,000 other ones, you just go and delete them. Just get rid of them before you keep them. And then when you cite them, they say, well, they're not relevant. You know, this is like Christians telling me, well, we're in the New Testament. This is the new order, the new covenant. And then I ask them, okay, then why don't you delete the old one? Why don't you delete the Old Testament? No, we can't do that. I said, well, if I'm giving you something from the Old Testament, you're telling me, well, we're not under that covenant anymore. We're in the new one, but you don't get rid of the old one. So what is the point? Why are you, on the one hand, when it suits you, referring to da'if and weak hadiths or the Old Testament, but if you don't like it, you say, well, it's only weak, we don't like it. That doesn't work that way. We need to be consistent.
I've asked Muslims many times in the past on this. You know, back in the years when I used to regularly debate and you know, have conversations, hours-long conversation with Muslims. I never got a good answer to that question, because I put that to so many Muslims. Why do you keep this crap around? Because not only is it confusing you, you know, even from your own point of view, isn't this providing ammunition for the so-called enemies of Islam? Why do you keep the shit around them? And I've never had a concrete answer to it. But I tell you what, I think the answer really is that in many cases, because so many Muslims still do believe these hadiths, whether they're weak or not, it's basically it's a public image excuse for the most embarrassing bits, which they don't want to admit to. They'll use this weak hadith stuff. I mean, because you even get this stuff even in like Bukhari, which is supposed to be the most authentic thing. You get this excuse rolled out where it's like, oh well, even though it's the most authentic collection, this particular hadith, there's a question about the third guy who spoke to Muhammad's companion, you know, it might be slightly less. And you get all this. So I think it's just like a public relations thing for the most part. I think most of these Muslims actually do believe virtually all of the major collections, not just the ones like the top 6. I think most of them, or they want to keep it around so that if you want to believe it, you can. And it's just a public relations thing for Islam. That because I've never got a concrete answer. Like you say, you know, you ask Muslims, there's no rationality for it. So
if you need an example, you just have to go look at Aisha and her claim that she was 6 when she was married to the Prophet, and then at 9 it was consummated. There you have the excuse that Hisham, exactly what you are saying, he was in Iraq and he was mildly confused at that time, which is so it's exactly what you are saying. It's a perfect example.
Yeah, it's all this, you know, getting into this tiny minutiae of like, oh yeah, you know, this guy might have, you know, drunk too much coffee on the day when he wrote it.
But otherwise totally reliable.
Exactly. Anyways, right, let's carry on and hope that Muslim Lantern finds what you're looking for before you'll fall asleep.
They'll pick a hadith out of the tens of thousands of hadith, and then they'll come and they'll say, right, this hadith, what have you got to say about it? We're not. Yeah. Well, the thing is this: you'll never know everything. That's why I got this brother here. You know.
I don't know everything.
Well, I'm not saying you do, but you certainly know a lot more than me, alhamdulillah. So.
Read it out loud, please.
He still can't find it. I would have loved to time this, how long he's looking at this one hadith.
See, he'd never put a video like this up on his own channel, would he? Because it's embarrassing at this point, isn't it? How long he's taking.
The reference
So-
you have given.
Okay, brother, let him just answer.
Give me 1 second, yeah?
Brother, let one person talk.
Give me 1 second. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
still reading.
number
still
1,
reading.
there is a hadith which clearly mentioned that she did not breastfed him directly. She put the milk in something and he drank the milk. I will give you the hadith. Number 1.
Yeah, I did try and find this hadith. I couldn't find this hadith. I'm not saying that there isn't a hadith, but I couldn't find one that said that they put the milk in a cup or whatever. I've seen various things online where you know, these are, you know, ask Islam question kind of websites, and they'll have a supposed scholar will, you know, answer doubting Muslims. And so I've seen things like saying, oh well, we infer that the milk was put in a cup because otherwise what's the point of, you know, if you're trying to keep them separate from the wives, then why would they directly breastfeed them? Which I can actually say from a point of logic, I'll give them a little bit of credit for that. But whether there's an exact hadith or not, I've not actually found it, and I don't think he gives a good reference for it.
Number 2, that breastfeeding that happened was not direct breastfeeding, was drinking. That happened only to one person, which was Salim, which we referred to. And Aisha clearly said in the hadith, that was for no one except Salim, and no one else entered on the wives of Prophet. Wait.
Right, see, this is a bit of a lie, actually. I might have to, where we were talking, because there is a hadith, and I think I'm going to have to quickly go to it.
Yeah, but just think this is silly. Come on, you can't say, well, there's a hadith that says you can breastfeed a man so that he has the status of mahram, and you say, no, because here's one that says something different. So now you have a contradiction. So which one do you keep, and which one do you believe? Then he says, but no. And here's another one. This only applies to this one person. Well, yes, so you have a hadith that says it. So what's your point?
Well, here's a hadith. Actually, I'm not going to, what I'll do is I'll put all links to this because I don't want to keep switching back. But this is Sahih Muslim 1453D. and it says a young boy who is at the threshold of puberty comes to you. This is sorry. Salama said to Aisha, a young boy who is at the threshold of puberty comes to you. I, however, do not like that he should come to me. Whereupon Aisha said, "Don't you see in Allah's messenger a model for you?" She also said, the wife of Abu Haditha, a messenger of Allah, Salim comes to me, and now he's a grown-up person. There is something that rankles. So basically, what she's doing, she's referring to this Salim guy, which is what Muslim Lantern saying. He was just the one exception. But when some other woman comes up to Aisha and says, "Well, look, I've also been asked to do this," and she says, "Well, don't you see in that in Allah's messenger a model for you?" And then she talks about something. So basically, she's saying, "Don't you see that this example when Salim was doing it, this is the model for you to follow?" So therefore, Aisha is basically saying, "No, it wasn't a one-off." Now, there are, as you say, there are other hadiths that sort of contradict that as well. But as I say, I think I'll put links to all this, or maybe what I'll do is I'll bring it up at the screen towards the end of the video, and we can quickly run through them. But yeah, he's saying like, "Oh no, Aisha just said it was this one-off thing." No, she was saying to other Muslim women, "Don't you see that this is the model to follow from Allah's messenger?" So he's kind of bullshitting, really. And as you say, there's just a lot of contradictions and stuff. Hey, Happy New Year, Smile. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, so sorry, right, let's carry on because there's still a fair bit to go.
Entered on the wives of Prophet Muhammad after him. Now I will show you these two narrations in English.
Wait for my answer, brothers. Wait for my answer.
I will show you these two narrations in English.
You wait for my answer.
Calm down.
Let me at least finish my point.
Why
Right?
don't you have a discussion or
Now, let me show you these two narrations. If I show you these two narrations, will you agree with us?
I won't agree with anything with you because I know the story, brother. Now, do you want to hear my version?
Would you admit?
No, I won't admit anything.
Okay,
I know the
let me show
story.
you a
You've already missed out the most important things. You've just missed out.
I don't know.
You've just missed out.
I missed out.
Aisha did say, after Muhammad's death, these verses were not meant for us. They weren't meant for all time. They were only meant for that particular woman. Because Muhammad's wives got fed up with having to get people to give breast for them to visit. Every man that wanted to visit one of his wives had to go and get breast.
Can you show me evidence for that? Show me one person who went to other than her. One person who went to the wife of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and he asked for that. One person.
Whoa.
No, let's substantiate our claims, yeah? Show me one person.
Right. Well, I don't think it mentions a particular person, but again, I can find another hadith here. Where is it? Boom. Which basically backs up, because what the guy is saying is that it happened with this one guy, Salim, who was a freed slave of one of Muhammad's companions, and he wanted to visit Aisha and blah blah blah. So they did this whole adult breast feeding for him. Now there is Malik, Al-Matwa Malik, Hadith 30:12, which says, and it's kind of going on about what he said. After this example, the other women folk were pissed off that they kept having to be asked about doing this for any other men that wanted to visit. And let me just read this bit for you. It says, so it's a bit of a long one here, so bear with me. It said, Messenger of Allah, we think of Salim as a son, and he comes in to see me while I'm uncovered. We only have one room, so what do you think about the situation? So Muhammad says, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said, give him 5 drinks of your milk and he will be mahram by it. So therefore he will be, forbidden for marriage with you. So that's after having breastfeeding 5 times. She then saw him as a foster son. Aisha took that as a precedent for whatever men she wanted to be able to come to see her. She ordered her sister, Kulthum bint Abi Bakr as-Sadiq, sorry for the terrible pronunciation, and the daughters of her brother to give milk to whichever men she wanted to be able to come in to see her. The rest of the wives of the Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, refused to let anyone come in to them by such nursing. They said, no, by Allah, we think that what the Messenger of Allah, may blessing and peace be upon him, ordered bin Sahar to do was only an indulgence concerning the nursing of Salim alone. No, by Allah, no one will come in upon us by such nursing. This is what the wives of the Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, thought about the suckling of an older person. So again, sorry, that was a long hadith, but the point is, so they're saying that like they were coming in, Aisha was basically saying, like, no, this is a precedent for what you got to do. And her sister says, like, no, you know, fuck that. Basically, we're not doing this for all the men that come in afterwards. We are interpreting that was a one-off situation. So what this guy is saying, and this is, as I say, Al-Mutawar Malik 3012, and I'll put links to all this stuff in the description. What she is saying, what he is saying is fundamentally correct. Yes, it was interpreted later to be a one-off situation because all the other wives were complaining that their relatives were, you know, being asked to do the same thing. So it was almost like it was abrogation through the women's revolt, essentially. So what the guy is saying, I think, is ostensibly backed up by the hadith, but I don't think he has it with him. So Muslim Lantern can do this little kind of dance. So I hope that kind of wasn't too people get where I was going with that. Was that clear enough, Stops, the way I explained it?
I get it, yeah.
Cool. All right. As I say, I'll put the links. Maybe we'll have a look at these at the end if we've got some time for it, but we've still got a bit to go.
You see,
wait, you were making a claim now, right?
Yeah.
Show me one person who went to the wives of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu and he asked for the same thing other than Salim. Please, one reference.
Right.
One
reference,
brothers.
I'm listening.
Look it up yourselves.
That's what I expected. Okay.
Well, as I say, I don't think it mentioned a specific person, but it mentioned specifically Aisha's sister refusing because she'd been asked. So yeah, it doesn't mention specifically who was asking them, but it does mention the specific sister of Aisha who's saying, no, I've spoken to the other sisters. We ain't up for this. So that hadith is pretty cool.
Why one? Why another one? And if he has two, is he going to ask him, well, give me a third one? And so on. No, one is enough. It's sufficient to have it once. And that was his only claim. It exists. It was in the Quran, and now it no longer finds itself there. It was eaten or whatever. That is his whole point. And it doesn't matter whether it's 1 or 2 or 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year to you, Banksy. Nice to see you, mate.
Haven't come here today
So come from a point
to
of knowledge.
talk about this.
Do you see how disingenuous you are? You see how disingenuous you
You
are?
see, this is personal again.
No, it's
This is
disingenuous.
No, I had references in
Because
my
you make a
phone
claim,
from, I
and
don't
you
know
asked
how
to
long ago.
substantiate it. You said,
I
"Go and do
haven't
your
come
research."
here to talk about this.
How can you?
I just pulled it up to see
So
if
you
I've got the
believe
reference.
something that
So
you
I
haven't
pulled out
substantiated
whatever.
See, and this is Abbas doing the same gameplay in here because he's saying, like, oh, because you haven't brought it. Now, I do think he's right. He probably should have brought like the hadith that I just read to back it up. But Abbas is, again, he says, oh, well, because you can't produce it on the spot, I'm going to pretend that it doesn't exist until you do. Now, there's a dishonest thing because I would never do something like that. If I knew the piece of information was true and that the other person didn't happen to have it on them, I wouldn't play this fucking game of pretending. That's incredibly dishonest. And these Dawa guys do it all the damn time.
I think even Abbas is just covering because, look, Lantern is still searching. He still doesn't know what to do with it.
No, exactly. He's still, I know doom scrolling is not the right terminology, but I think it just fits anyway because he's got this look of doom on his face, desperately trying to find something. Yeah, thanks for the message there, Akira. Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, let's carry on with this.
I've asked a question. I've asked a
When you ask for
question, which
evidence,
is a fair
you say, go and do
question.
your own research.
How can you explain this?
Come on.
And he
If that's not disingenuous,
goes
what is?
past the subject
Subhanallah.
and said, but these, Aisha said it was only. Well, we know that because the women, Muhammad's wives, had rebelled against him and said, we are not going to do this. Yes, it did.
You can't just make
Yes,
up
it did.
stories. You can't just
Hang
make
on a
up
minute,
stories.
brother.
I love that. You can't just make up story. I mean, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's a made up story.
I think this is
It's just-
hilarious.
It's so disingenuous. It's so disingenuous. Oh, dear. All right, sorry, I shouldn't keep pausing it because we've still got like half this video
I
to
think
go.
this is so funny.
You claim you're
can't
not an
just make
expert.
stuff up.
Hang on, you claim you're not an expert.
I'm not.
How come all of a sudden
I'm
you're an
not.
expert when I say
I'm
something
not.
and I know my subject?
No,
And I
I'm
know
not.
He's
about
No,
it.
only moderating.
No,
No,
no.
he's
No,
not.
he's
He's
not
not being.
moderating.
He's not being an expert.
Let me answer that.
You don't know the
Hold on.
topic, but you know it's not true.
Let me answer that.
No.
He makes a good point, doesn't he? Because Abbas does this thing when it suits him. It's like, oh, I don't know, you know, oh, I'd have to double check that. But he's right. If he sees an opportunity to interrupt and try to mess with the Christian guy, then suddenly he knows it again. It's just all dodgy tactics.
Shall I answer that?
No, don't worry.
You don't want my answer?
No.
Okay.
Because you
Why
jumped,
ask-
you've
why
missed it
ask the
all.
question then?
Did
Okay,
the sheep?
okay.
Did the sheep incident happen?
The first.
Did the sheep incident happen?
Can I answer? the first question, right? The first hadith is in a book. It's called كيفية رضاع الحديث الكبير. كيفية رضاع الكبير. Yeah. Page.
Right, this is the one that he's quoting, which I couldn't really get. Could you understand what he was saying there?
No.
Maybe I'll skip back just a little bit. Just maybe if somebody can write this down.
The first hadith is in the book, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, let me play that bit again.
The first question, right? The first hadith is in a book. It's called كيفية رضاع الحديث الكبير. كيفية رضاع الكبير. Yeah. Page.
Right, if anybody understood that, please type it in the chat, because I'm happy to go look this up. If he's actually got a genuine hadith that supports it, I'm not going to lie about it, but I could not make out what the hell he was saying.
498 is mentioned in the book. The narration is there in Arabic. You can research it yourself. This is the first hadith.
Yes, they're in Arabic, so we can't confirm it. So, yeah, interesting.
This is the hadith about that she used to put the milk in a cup, and he used to drink the milk. So no direct breastfeeding happened unless you can show me.
Right, so even if we take him at his word of this, and considering how much Muslim Lantern lies and misrepresents or quote mines the hadiths, I'm not prepared to give him this on it. But let's be charitable for a moment and say this is true. Okay, even if you're not directly breastfeeding, like your skin isn't touching, it's still breastfeeding. You're still giving breastfed milk to an adult as a way to basically cure him of what? His sexual desire towards you, or to make. I mean, it's still a ridiculous and kind of creepy thing to be doing, I think, even if she hasn't literally put a nipple in his mouth. So, like, I mean, all right, maybe it's a personal judgment, but like adults drinking breast milk, I just find a bit creepy personally. So, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I don't think it makes it that much better. But I'd like to actually have confirmation that this hadith is real, because I couldn't make out what he was saying.
The only one I find here is Tadib.
Sorry, say that again?
The only thing that I find here is Tadib.
Tadib. Never heard of it.
And it says here that it's 945. So this is the only one that I can find here that I've never heard of before.
What does it say? What does it? Does it sort of say what he's saying? Because if he's right, he's right. I'm happy to.
Even one reporter said that it is not strong, and the leading scholar differed concerning him, and he's not an authority. Rather, his narration may be taken into consideration alongside others. So this is just a discussion about that this is weak and not to be considered scholarly or authentic in any which way.
But is this about the breastfeeding?
Yes,
into the cup rather than. So what does the actual thing say about? Does it say squirting? My Abdullah said, among the things that were revealed in the Quran, then abrogated, was that the relationship of maram cannot be established except by 10 breastfeedings. Then after that, it was revealed, or 5. But it only says breastfeedings. It doesn't say anything about a container or anything like that. I mean, It's exactly what you are saying. The concept of breastfeeding, to give a man a certain standing that he's allowed to see a woman when she's uncovered, when she's not, totally veiled up, and not naked, but just uncovered with the face and the neck. That's ridiculous. All right, so this doesn't confirm then what Muslim.
To sum up, the story of the sheep eating the page of the Holy Quran in the house of Aisha, please be her, is weak and not proven. This is the.
Well, that's a slightly separate. I was talking specifically about this idea that the breastfeeding was done into a cup rather than directly to the.
Well, they're combining both of them. There's nothing here about a cup. They just say everything is about breastfeedings, without mentioning that.
Yeah. I couldn't find any hadith that says what Muslim Land is claiming. But if somebody comes up with it, let us know.
Asked a question. You've asked a question.
Allow me to please
no, but you asked a question.
I didn't
ask a question.
I said unless. I never ask a question.
In Turkey today in Turkey, this tradition is still happening.
Another accusation.
There's women that give breast. They feed the children of other children, of other wives, and they become relatives. This is happening today. It's not happening the way Muhammad ordered it, but there are women that look after other women's children, breastfeed them, and they become relatives.
What's your name again? Sorry, what's your name? Come.
Hi, Andy.
Andy, if you don't mind, right?
Yeah.
We would love to have a conversation with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. because hopefully we'll be able to have a sensible discussion. If you don't want to be on camera,
The camera, I don't like
then if you come on this side,
Yeah.
no, but face us.
I mean, this is quite extraordinary. They've basically just crashed out of the conversation, and even though there's still like, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes of the video left, and they basically just abandoned the conversation with this guy because they can't handle it. And they're trying to get somebody else in.
Tapping out.
Essentially, well,
Next
he
one
does
in.
remain on the
Lantern has
side-
failed. Next one in.
Or he does remain on the sideline, and he is kind of drawn back into it. So what I'll say from now is I'll carry on playing it because there is some more interesting stuff in it, but we don't have to go all the way to the end of the video. We'll see how we're doing for time, but this is kind of the core of the conversation we've done. But I'll leave it running, and we'll see kind of, because there is some other stuff that's interesting.
This
It
side.
will be in your back.
It will be on your back, brothers. Don't film Andy, please. Yeah, Andy will stand over here, and we'll have a discussion with Andy.
There's 2 Andys
So
now.
Andy, basically,
Yeah, I'm not
Which
sure.
has no relationship
brother,
with
just one
anything.
second. So Andy, basically, the breastfeeding incident.
Yeah.
Both Hatun and the brother here were claiming that this was suckling off a grown man, suckling off a breast.
Right.
That was the claim.
Okay.
Well, no, again, see, the way he frames that is bad as well. All he's doing is reading what the hadith say, and the hadith say breastfeeding and suckling. Those are the words they use. They don't mention a cup or anything else. So it's perfectly reasonable to assume that in a segment from Sahih Muslim, which is talking about adult breastfeeding, that when they say suckling and breastfeeding, they literally mean it. Like he's acting as if like, oh, well, he's actually saying, they got down and put it in his mouth or whatever like this. It's like, no. It's a perfectly reasonable assumption to make based on what the hadith has said. It's the clearest reading. And yet he's trying to make it seem as if that's like an outrageous kind of, way to interpret
Well, it is.
I mean, it's exactly, I mean, it's a
Oh,
segment
God,
on
this is-
breastfeeding, for fuck's sake. Anyways.
Now, what the brother has showed is, number one, it was specific only to this
Salim.
Sahabi called Salim.
Well, it may have only happened to him, but that seems to have been because of the protests of the other wives who had to get their female relatives in to do suckling. That's what they were asked to do with that other hadith that I've read, and I will put a link to it. So therefore, even if it only applied to, it seemed at least at one point, Aisha was saying, well, this is the model to follow, right? This is what we expect you to do. So again, this is a dishonest.
Yeah. And I see this as one example, mentioning the name Salim.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, it's even weird actually. Maybe we'll have a look at those hadiths because that whole situation is kind of odd as well. It's like the way it's apparently like Salim's former slave master had a rankling in his heart, I think they say, about him going there and visiting her, and said that the only way that will get rid of it is for you to suckle him to suckle on you. And then she goes, Aisha says, okay, she goes away, comes back after suckling him and says, the rankle in his heart is gone. It's something like that.
I would also claim that, yeah. Well, I would say, no, let me go again, just to make sure.
Yeah, well, I'm going to carry on playing this bit, but yeah, have a look.
And the mother put it in a cup, and he was fed along those lines. Now,
Yeah, well, you haven't proven that. You've not proven that.
do you see my point? No, can I just finish though?
Sorry.
Do you see why I won't have these discussions? Because
Because you lose. That's why. Because you look like an idiot. That's why you won't have them.
especially with Hatun, you see how she twisted it and made it a suckling of the breasts.
Forget Hatun, because
See,
we all
it's
know...
like
No, the hadith say suckling. Hatun's just reading it.
perversion.
No, but hold on a
They have
second.
got some perverted, nonsense sexual sort of acts that they sort of profess to Islam. And when you challenge them, they won't accept it.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean, for a man that acknowledges that Aisha was 9 years old when she was getting it away with Muhammad, to say that like anyone else is perverted sexually, it's amazing to me.
shame. And when you challenge it with academia, at least an honest person will say, okay, you know what?
I'm sorry, what academia did they bring? All we saw was for fucking 5 minutes Muslim Lantern scrolling desperately through his fucking phone and then bringing up a hadith from a collection which you can't even understand what he's saying, and it's in Arabic, and he just points to his phone screen, says, see, there it is, go research. That's the academia they brought. God, pathetic.
I thought it was this, but you've clarified from your own hadith, from your own tradition, actually, it was not that.
Okay, so
What?
so 2 points.
Yes.
The first point is, I don't agree with anything iTunes said.
Right.
Because it was very offensive.
iTunes.
iTunes, yeah. I don't agree with iTunes.
Her tune is rather.
I like Samsung.
Yeah.
But
High
think-
tunes.
Exactly.
That's a
So
good one, actually. I like that.
So I think she's absolutely, and to be hysterical the way she goes on about it,
Yeah.
it's not an argument. In fairness to Andy,
Yes.
you have to ask Andy, do you accept what he said as an answer to your
No.
hold on, and if not, why? But you have to explain calmly why you don't accept it, because does it answer, because you've got 3 points of reference, he's only answered off 1. Maybe there's 2 other points there because you've got 3 points there. Is it something to do with, if you just, because I actually think your reasoning initially has been very, very good. So
Hang on, sorry. This Smiles put in the chat. This might be the hadith Lantern is trying to pass off. Smile, does it without actually looking at it myself? Does it actually back up what Muslim Lantern was saying, or is he really butchered it just to try and desperately deflect? I don't know if you can answer that in the chat, but I will take a look at it in a bit. But I'm just going to carry on playing the video.
because you've only answered from 1, so if you can say why
The
you don't
reason
accept.
why I don't accept it, my
Right,
friend, is
okay.
because the answer he gave is the end. The end was that in the end, the women rebelled, and Aisha said that was only meant for that woman, because they got fed up of giving their breasts. Their aunties and their aunts and their sisters and their mothers got fed up with having to breast people, to suckle people, for them to be able to visit the wives.
Can you substantiate that with evidence?
No, well, yeah. I mean, I did read that hadith earlier that basically confirms what he said. Just to respond, Smile says that hadith covers the Prophet's wife giving milk to the companions through a bowl, but doesn't mention breastfeeding at all. Ah, okay. So it sounds like Muslim Lantern has probably picked up some generic hadith about Aisha serving milk through a bowl and has tried to make it about breastfeeding. That would be right. That is exactly how Muslim Lantern operates. She's shifty like that. But I will look at the hadith.
But
So thanks for
even
that.
then,
Smile.
it's difficult because I don't always trust this, because there's been a lot of tampering with these texts. So if it says something like that, I would have to make sure whether this is the original text. So we'd have to go back a couple of years to test or to check whether this is actually the wording, because I don't trust this at all. It sounds to me like this was manipulated.
Well, from what Smart as I just read, it suggests that it doesn't actually mention breastfeeding. It's just a generic thing about giving milk to the companion through a bowl. So it suggests to me that even if Muslim Lantern has got this, he's manipulated it to not, to mean more than it actually did. So, and I say I've shown him doing that with so many different things where he leave bits out, or he'll misapply them, or he'll ignore other hadiths that give context to it. So he does this shit all the time. So. Yeah, thank you for checking that for us, Smart. But to go back to the video, anyway, he's absolutely right. He says Muslim Land has done the same thing here. He has basically said, yeah, okay, it only applied to this one person, but he's left out the crucial context that essentially the wives had to battle against it to make it. It seemed like it was supposed to be the model to follow, like Aisha said. So
these verses were eaten by a sheep. That the verses were under. Hang on, was under Aisha's pillow in her room, and these verses are referred to in the Quran. There is a gap. They are referred to in the Quran.
Where's the gap?
You have heard two claims, right?
Well, I'll have to go and look it all up, but I haven't got time to do it, brother. It's not that important to me. It's not that
Well, it
important.
clearly is important enough for you to refer to it.
do you hear what Abbas said, though? What gap in the Quran? I mean, Muslims themselves, the greatest scholars in Islam, can't even absolutely guarantee what proper order to put the Quran in. And yet he expects this guy to be able to say where those missing hadiths were supposed to be in the Quran. And if he can't do that, then suddenly, that invalidates his point. I mean, it's just so shifty, the stuff that they do.
Well, because of the way you treated a woman.
No,
The way you
give
treated
us
a
the
woman.
reference.
Andy, so you just pointed out a couple of
Points, 2 points.
So
Okay.
what's your name?
He has put
What's your name?
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
Yeah,
So,
he has put 2 references. Yeah,
Okay.
he said that the wives of the Prophet got fed up with people entering them, and they were breastfeeding all of them. And then in the end,
Their
right,
relatives
that's the
were-
claim, right?
their
In the end, they said, you know what, that was only, Aisha said that was only for Salim, right? So he has to substantiate where the wives of Prophet Muhammad used to do that, right? Number one. Number two, he says the Quran, there was a verse in the Quran, inconsistency, missing verse in the Quran. He has to provide evidence.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
He said about the lamb who needs a lamb.
That's the second point.
Right, so
Sheep,
that point
sheep.
there, so
So that second point he has to substantiate from
Okay.
our narrations, from our hadith tradition. One narration that says that there was a verse
Yeah.
about breastfeeding,
Yeah.
and there was a sheep that went inside and he ate that verse, right?
Okay.
That's what he has to do. Is that rational?
that's rational.
Is
Yes,
that rational?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So two things: sheep eating a verse about breastfeeding. The second thing is what? To prove that the wives of Prophet Muhammad used to breastfeed, and in the end, they said, you know what? Yeah, there's two people coming, so now it's only for Salim.
let
So
me-
please,
Fantastic. Just
so
take
just
a
like I
break.
did,
Provide
substantiate.
evidence.
Please, go ahead.
So could you
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I found something here. This is Salim al-Nawawi quoted this meaning in his commentary on Sahih Muslim and considered it to be good. He said, Al-Qadi said that perhaps she milked herself into a container and then he drank it without touching her breast and without their skins touching, and what Al-Qadi said is good. So this is just a commentary on something else.
Well, look, let me just on this issue of the sheep eating and the suckling. Let me just read the kind of three hadiths that kind of relate to this. So we got Al-Mutawwatir Malik 30:17, which says again, I'm going to skip past all the bit where it says this person said to this person. Basically, it says amongst what was sent down of the Quran was 10 known sucklings make haram. Then it was abrogated by 5 known sucklings. When the messenger of Allah, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, died, it was what is now recited of the Quran. Yahya said that Malik said one does not act on this. Then we've got two from Ibn Majah. The first one is 3/9/1944. It was narrated that Aisha said the verse of stoning and breastfeeding in the verse of stoning and breastfeeding an adult 10 times was revealed, and the paper was under my pillow. When the messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death, and the tame sheep came in and ate it. These verses were abrogated in recitation but not ruling. So that's Ibn Majah 3/9/1944. And then the third one is it was narrated that Aisha said one of the things that Allah revealed in the Quran and then abrogated, so they always put so much bloody stuff in brackets and everything around it.
Okay, I've got a page here with like 20 of them.
Yeah, one of the things that Allah revealed in the Quran and then abrogated, the word translated as abrogated is blah, 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 which means dropped and not something else in Arabic, which is the word used to refer to legal abrogation. This is also the usage found in the Quran itself. Oh, God, all that, and then it goes on to the rest of it. Right, okay, right, let me read it full back on. One of the things that Allah revealed in the Quran and then abrogated was that nothing makes marriage prohibited except 10 breastfeedings or 5 well-known breastfeedings. And that's Ibn Majah 3/9/1942. And as you say, you've got a whole bunch of them as well. So there are these questions that, you know, they're slightly weaker hadiths maybe, but he's acting as if, oh, there's no evidence there. And he knows there are. He knows there are these hadiths. Whether he wants to get into a theological argument about how strong they are, that's another question. But it's this pretense that they're not there because this guy didn't have the exact references on him. Now, he should have had, but they shouldn't be lying and pretending that it's not there just because he doesn't have it.
Exactly. And if there's one that says the opposite, it only means it's an internal contradiction, nothing else.
Yeah.
Because I see so many here where it says, actually, when she was mentioning what kind of breastfeeding makes a person haram, 10 definite breastfeedings were revealed in the Quran, then 5. And this is, there are so many examples of no one could come in the presence of Aisha for the token of foster relation, except if he had completed 5 suckles. And then it carries on. And another one, authority of Aisha, he said, it's been revealed in the Quran that 10 have been made marriage until revealed, and then 5. There are so many of these hadiths which all say the same thing.
I think Steve in the chat has solved the mystery. The women
It's pages and pages and pages of this. Sorry, but this doesn't end.
Yeah, so yeah, there's tons of it. So for them to pretend not, but yeah, it's just dishonest. But Steve in the chat says he solved the mystery. The women sent the sheep in to get it. To get it first. So, yeah.
No, it was the sheep that was suckled. This is the whole point.
One more comment. I always thought it was the stoning of adulterers that was eaten by the goat. Yeah, because there was others that was
Yes.
eaten by goat. So there's a sheep that ate the breastfeeding one. The goat ate the stoning one of adulterers one. I mean, it seems like farmyard animals have had more influence on the Quran than like anyone else apart from Muhammad. I mean,
Okay, but
maybe
the
is
whole
this
point
what it
is drastic.
Well,
I think you've made a point here. And this is why I think you selected this video, because you can see quite clearly that you have somebody like okay, I'm not even talking about Abbas, but somebody like Muslim Lantern, who is considered to be one of the top the Dawah apologists at the moment, who is completely lost, who doesn't know what to do with this question. As soon as you have a definite claim which is embarrassing, which he cannot go and immediately deflate. And that is the problem that this video is quite clearly showing.
No, absolutely. And Smiles brought up, I think that was a story about the adulterous monkeys stoning each other. No, the
Yeah,
monkeys
the she
stole
monkey, yeah.
monkeys. Yeah, that was the. I mean,
And then I joined them. Unbelievable. I mean, come on, this is so crazy.
I'm wondering, right, if maybe pigs are considered unclean because there was a particular hadith that the pigs got their trotters on, and or a particular part of the Quran, and Muslims have just not been able to forgive the pigs ever since, and so they've been demonized. I'm not sure. Anyway, I mean, yeah, I mean, a religion that's partly controlled by the animal kingdom is just bizarre to me. Anyways, right, enough of this. We've got a couple more minutes, so let's see what else he's got.
Listen, it's fair enough. Yeah, but what I find over here,
Just provide the evidence and then tell us what you find.
Saying there that he's actually receiving you very good.
Yeah.
There.
yes,
So you agree with me?
I don't agree with you, but I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer.
Go ahead.
If you really don't know, then I agree with you. But I don't believe that you don't know. I believe that because you're all deceivers and your Allah is the greatest of deceivers, you're happy to lie.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I mean, he's not wrong, is he? These guys, we have proved it in video after video how fucking deceptive they are. So he's right to have that reaction, as far as I'm concerned.
now I'm going to go and I'm going to write down all these references. And this is what you're making me do. So the next time we meet, brother, I will have them there for you. Because it's all there. It's all there.
You can't
And I will
produce it.
expose this.
You can't produce it today.
No, I didn't come prepared to. I
okay.
come here.
You clearly did.
I
You
come.
said that every week.
You
said
clearly
that.
I come here.
You said that 2
He's
weeks
got the
ago.
references on his mobile phone
I come
to
here.
show us,
I come
and he
here.
didn't come prepared.
Can I answer that?
No, let me just say this. I come
They
here.
just happen to be on
and
his mobile phone.
Most Muslims know
Come
me.
on.
They see me, and we talk. That I come here to have conversations.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Did I shout at you? But you
No.
shouted at me?
Of course.
That's right. I come and have conversations with many Muslims.
Shouting
Many
conversations.
Muslims. Those that are deceivers, I won't tolerate.
Okay. Can I answer
Okay.
what you said?
Yes.
I'm not saying I don't know, my friend. I said it doesn't exist. If you show me one narration of the wives
Oh,
of Prophet
well, next
Muhammad,
week,
wait.
next week.
Of Prophet, let me make my claim, right? If you show me one narration of the wives of Prophet Muhammad breastfeeding men coming and out, and they said,
Not the
and they said-
wives, brother. You.
Yeah, again, he's so dishonest. The way he'll say it doesn't exist, and then he'll give a specific framing which obviously doesn't exist, but it's something very close to that. Now he's twisted it and said, "You bring me in a narration where the wives themselves were complaining about having to breastfeed." He already said that he was talking about the relatives. They were talking about getting their aunts and their sisters and all the rest of it. He wasn't saying that the literal the other wives were doing it. They were saying about getting it from the relatives, which is what he said in the hadith that I read. So he's deliberately manipulating it again at the end. He's just so fucking disgusting, this guy.
It's a classical Strauben.
Yeah, it's just, oh man. Anyways,
You must learn to listen.
Okay.
I know what I say.
okay, what did you say?
The sisters,
camera, by the way.
mothers,
Yeah.
the sisters, the mothers, the aunts.
Okay, sure.
They had to do it to make the man
Sure.
then a relative so that the man could come and visit the wives without thoughts of any sexual
Sure.
immorality.
It's on camera.
yeah, and that is how he said it throughout the video.
Yeah.
So Muslim Lantern is lying here.
Once you're a relative,
It's
you
on
can't-
camera. It's
Yes.
on camera where you said the wives used to do it, and everyone here
I
is listening.
did not
and
say
this
the
brother is
wives.
listening.
He literally just had said it and then qualified it just that one time. All the other times he said he was talking about the relatives. So again, he misspoke just there and immediately corrected himself. And now he's saying that, oh no, you said it throughout the video. Such a fucking liar.
Did
The
it?
brother is listening.
I did not say
It's okay.
the wife
Let's agree
did
to
it.
disagree.
And if I
Let's agree to disagree. It's on
Listen,
camera.
taking the medication.
Camera
yet?
will judge. The camera will judge. Yeah.
Listen,
If you show me,
if I said it, it was a mistake.
allow me to finish. Yeah. If you show me,
I did not.
Okay, sure,
say
sure. It's
I
good. It's
did
humble
not
to accept.
say it.
It's humble to accept. So the wife never did it. Yeah. We
The
have
wives
that.
never did it.
Okay,
No.
thank you very much. So that's the first point. Yeah. Let's go to the
It's
next
not the
point.
first point. It's you dominating.
Sure.
It's you trying to
Can I
dominate
speak
because
now?
you don't listen
Can I speak
and you
now?
don't listen to what I'm telling
Why are
you.
you getting angry?
Okay.
Because
Shouting?
you
Relax.
try to
Relax.
dominate.
Nobody's
I've
dominating
explained
you.
to you that it was the
If you're the
why.
one shouting,
It was the.
If you're
Because
the one
I've
shouting and
explained
getting
to you,
angry, you're the
it's
one
the
trying to
why.
dominate.
It's the mothers,
You
the
appreciate that.
sisters, the aunts, any female relative of Muhammad's wives had to give breast so that the man would become a relative
Where's the
and be
evidence
able
for
to. He's again. We go round in circles. Next week, I will bring it.
Okay. If you bring us, if you
Again, it's like the wives are objecting on behalf of the other female relatives. So
Yeah, they were
this point is
complaining,
good.
yeah.
So again, they're just trying to find a fucking technicality to get out of because they know that the core of what he's saying is correct. So it's just all this fucking game playing as usual. All right, I think we're near the end of this now, so let's just play this last bit.
bring us that evidence,
Yeah.
of all of
This
the
man would know about it. This man.
Yes,
you do.
Are you talking to? You're talking to
Why
me,
don't
right?
you ask DCI?
You know,
They
brother,
should
you
know
know
about
about
You're
it.
talking to me,
You
correct?
discussed
You're
what
talking
I'm
to
not
me.
arguing, I'm not debating.
No, he's not
You're
debating,
talking
but
to
he
me.
knows about it.
Can I finish? You're talking to me, yeah? You're talking to me, yeah? If you show me the evidence for what you said,
Yeah.
that all of them had to breastfeed, all the community had to breastfeed that poor brother.
Again, you see how he's all the community. When did he say all the community had to come round and breastfeed? He knows what he's doing. This is just such dirty manipulation, semantic game playing and tricks in the conversation. I mean, how do Muslims seriously? I know there are some Muslims that watch my videos. Try and tell me that this is an honest way to behave. This is an honest way to talk to people. When in the exact sentence, every sentence that comes out of his mouth is deliberately trying to give a straw man argument of what the guy has just said very clearly and very directly. I mean, how can you say the Muslim Lantern is an honest interloper in these conversations? He's such a bad faith actor.
Right? That poor Sahabi. All the community had to do it as you claim. I'm not going to come to the park anymore. Show me that claim.
What are you saying? Maybe it's your English, but what you just said doesn't make sense. It's not
you
what
can
I
make
said.
abominums all you
No,
like, but
no.
let me say again. Let me say again. Then. Let me say again.
I'm trying to correct this brother. And instead of listening, he's trying to make out that I'm attacking him. I'm trying to say that I did not say that all.
What did you say? Tell me.
Yeah, just repeat
Brother,
one more time.
you just said that I said that all the wives had to breast this
No,
this man.
what did you
this
say?
man.
I'm wrong. What did you say? Tell me.
I've said
Yes,
that,
yes.
that Muhammad's wives had to get a relative, whether it's their mother, their sister, or their aunt, to breastfeed somebody to make him a relative. By making him a relative, he could then visit the wife.
Can I just make a suggestion?
Right? Hang on, you see, you didn't let me
After
finish.
you finish.
Yeah, but after I finish, you stop us in free flow. But when I do it to this brother here, all of a sudden,
not interrupting you.
that's
I'm saying
why
you
I
finish,
shout.
you finish.
He hadn't finished and he's fucking interrupting him. See, again, because this guy is very clear, he's a good speaker. Abbas knew he had to cut him off there. And then he has to say, I'm not interrupting you. I've interrupted you to tell you I'm not interrupting you.
Because he was making sense, yeah.
Yeah, because he was clear cut, he was forthright, he was correcting Muslim Lantern and showing how dishonest he was being. So Abbas has to fucking sneak in there and try and throw him off. I think this is pretty much it. I think there's a couple more minutes, but I don't think there's really anything else extra. So, I mean, unless you want to watch the last 2 minutes of this stops, or do you want to kind of have a wrap up?
Well, if there's nothing else, the thing is, it's going to carry on for another couple of seconds and it's going to abruptly end, I suppose, like they always do. So it doesn't make sense.
I don't think there's anything particularly else that's useful on this. Other than I think they just do their last minute turn to the camera and kind of, see how we won that argument or any of that crap. So I think I'm going to leave it there because I think this is what I wanted to show. First of all, this was quite a fun topic to do, and I thought it'd be a nice, light-hearted one to start the year off with. But it is a great example. Number one, of the dishonest tactics. Number two, of how you can actually break through it. And props to this guy. I've never seen this Andy guy before, but well done to him. And number three, just how dishonest and how out of his depth Muslim Lantern was in this conversation. I mean, none of that shit-eating grin, that bombastic nature there. I'm owning the conversation when he can mute people. He looked timid and he looked stupid spending 5 to 10 minutes scrolling through his phone. So I think this, again, I'm surprised the EFDawah put this up on their channel a couple of days ago. You know, I mean, it's a bit of a blessing for me because I've quite enjoyed this one. But oh, I suppose I'll tell you what, I'll bring it down and maybe we can have a look at a couple of the hadiths just before we wrap up. Stops, you want to kind of give your thoughts on the videos?
No, you've covered it nicely. I think EFDawah didn't even realize this. I think they were concentrating more on what was being said, where they were trying to dominate the Christian guy. And I think when he spoke and when they were shouting at him, this was more important for them than the actual contents and the action of what Lantern was doing in that at the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. I mean, let's just have a look at this. Is this big enough for people to see? Maybe I can bump it up.
Not for me, no.
How's that?
No, because you've still got half the Arabic in there.
Okay, bear with me a second. How's that?
Oh, there you go.
Right, I'm just like, it's so big for me now. It's like trying to read it on the page. Hang on. So, right, but now it's taken up. Right, well, look, I hope people can read that.
Everybody can read. You can make it one. Can you move it more to the left and make it a little bit smaller?
No,
I mean, now it's huge.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Let me. Ooh. Right, hopefully that's kind of centered a bit. Can you still read that, or is that now too small for you?
Can.
Okay. So this is the book of Suckling. You know, it's Sahih Muslim, so it's one of the main big authentic thing. Let's just have a look at a few. See, I think I've gone slightly past now where I'm supposed to be. Sorry about this. Bear with me, people. I think no, that's the prohibition. Let me just skip down a bit. Yeah, so we're just going to have a look at a few of these hadiths just to show that, you know, we weren't making it up. Chapter 1 or 2 sucks. I mean, Jesus Christ, even the way they... 1 suckling or 2 do not make marriage unlawful. So that is... So you this is Sahih Muslim 1451a. A Bedouin came to Allah's apostle. When he was in my house, Allah's apostle said, I had a wife. I married another besides her. My first wife claimed that she had suckled once or twice my newly married wife. Therefore, Allah's apostle said, 1 suckling or 2 do not make the marriage unlawful. So that almost seems like the other wife was trying to invalidate the other marriage by breastfeeding. I mean, what am I reading here? This is from a god, apparently.
Yeah, this looks like the script for a porno.
It really does. Right, actually, I think it's down to the 30s. Let me just get past this. Here we are. Right, so becoming Maram. Sorry, the pronunciation. It's established by 5 breastfeedings. So this is Sahih Muslim 1452a. Aisha reported that it had been revealed in the Holy Quran that 10 clear sucklings made the marriage unlawful. Then it was abrogated and substituted by 5 sucklings, and Allah's apostle died. And it was before that time in the Holy Quran and recited by the Muslims. Okay, so this is a clear, authentic hadith. This is, yeah, so which one was that? Yeah, it's 14. So it's Sahih Muslim 1452a. So like these guys are all pretending like, oh no, you know, bring us a reference. Like they know this shit is in here. All right. I mean, so it's 1452b. There's revealed in the Holy Quran 10 clear sucklings and then 5 clear sucklings.
Took me 5 seconds to find it.
Yeah. I just want to get breastfeeding an adult. Now this is the key one. So we are on Muslim 1453a. Messenger of Allah, I see in the face of Abu Hudayfa signs of disgust on entering of Salim, who is an ally. So this used to be Abu Hudayfa's slave, and he was freed. where Alice Apostle said, "Suckle him." She said, "How can I suckle him as he is a grown-up man?" Alice's messenger smiled and said, "I already know that he is a young man. Amir has made this addition in his narration, and he participated in the Battle of Badr and the narration of Ibn Umar." So the additional bit was Alice's messenger laughed. So she says, "How can I suckle him? He's a grown adult." And he just laughs and smiles and says, "Yeah, I know he is." So I mean, that just sounds creepy by itself. But and then
Come on, you can't be
this
serious.
is the next one, 1453b. There's just a few more of these we'll finish off with. Aisha reported that Salim, the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, lived with him and his family in his house. She came to Allah's apostle and said, "Salim has attained puberty, I think it's meant to mean puberty, as men attain, and he understands what they understand, and he enters our house freely. I, however, perceived that something rankles in the heart of Abu Hudayfa." This is the one that I remember. Whereupon Allah's apostle said to her, "Suckle him, and you would become unlawful for him, and the rankling which Abu Hudayfa feels in his heart will disappear." She returned and said, "So I suckled him, and what was there in the heart of Abu Hudayfa disappeared." So, they're pretending this stuff is not in here. This is Sahih Muslim. I'm going to keep repeating this. This is one of the 6 Sahih collections. I think we've got one more here. I'll skip past all the narrated bits. So Amir came to Allah's apostle and said, "Messenger of Allah, Salim, the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, is living with us in our house, and he's attained puberty as men attain it, and has acquired knowledge of the sex problems as men acquire." The way they phrase this stuff. Whereupon he said, "Suckle him so that he may become unlawful in regard to marriage for you." He said, "I refrained from narrating this hadith for a year or so on account of fear. I then met Al-Qasim and said to him, 'You narrated to me a hadith which I did not narrate to anyone afterwards.' He said, 'What is that?' I informed him, whereupon he said, 'Narrate it on my authority that Aisha had narrated it to me.'" So again, that's a kind of garbled ending, but I think there was one more I wanted to read. Yeah, this is the one. So this is 1453d. "A young boy who is at the threshold of puberty comes to you. I, however, do not like that he should come to me." Whereupon Aisha said, "Don't you see in Allah's messenger a model for you a model for you?" So this is the thing that I'd kind of read at the start. So this is just confirming that basically some other woman, and I think it was her sister, Umar Salam. I think that she's her sister. Came to her and said, "Look, I've got some young boy who's reached puberty. I don't want to be doing this suckling thing." And she's saying, "Oh, don't you see that this was the model to follow when I did it?" And then the wife of Abu Hudayfa said, "Messenger of Allah, Salim comes to me now. He is a grown person. There is something that rankles." Oh, so we're back to the rankling thing. Suckle him, blah, blah, blah. So again, it's all in here. It's all in here. Is this one more that's worth reading? I heard... This is 1453e. I heard Salama, the wife of Allah's apostle, saying to Aisha, "By Allah, I do not like to be seen by young boys." So I think this is saying the same thing. Yeah, I think that's just basically a repeat of it. Yeah, so look, the upshot is, first of all, I think it's funny to read these because they all just sound really creepy to me. But again, Muslim Lantern, Abbas, and all the rest of them will all pretend that this stuff isn't in here until it's quoted to them. And the most annoying thing I find about that, right, is that when you actually do show them the material, it's not like they will then concede, "Oh yeah, we were wrong to pretend that this stuff wasn't there." They just carry on as if you hadn't done anything. And this is what really annoys it. I mean, I remember Rob used to do this when he used to say, like, when you're pointing out the inheritance error, there's no point in actually pointing it out to Muslims, because if they do concede it at that point, then they'll just carry on. So you should always say things like, "If I can show you this verse, is that going to change the way you think?" Because otherwise it's a waste of time. But this is what makes these guys so dishonest. They know it's in there, and if you and they'll use it as distraction. But if you do happen to have it on you, they're still not going to concede that it's all screwed up and that they were wrong and they were lying. So it's all just game playing. It's all just chew the clock up and bullshit. And this to me is the nature of dawah, and why, even when they're not directly lying, they're lying through omission. They're lying by pretending that things are not in the scripture, which they know to be there, and just making you go around in circles. So it's worth seeing like that. Let me just skip down and just see if there's any more that should read off there. I think we've got the gist of it with all this sucklingness and suckling there.
But it doesn't matter if there's more.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of that bit. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter how many there are. One is enough. If it says it once, it's sufficient. It's as you say, it's creepy. You can't go and say, well, yeah, here it's maybe a little bit this, maybe a little bit of, it doesn't change the contents. It doesn't change the whole concept of this thing. And this is the whole point. There is a concept in Islam that you can do this, which is creepy and totally nonsensical. And it's very sexual in my eyes. And you can't get away from that.
Yeah, I agree. Someone's Happy Cameron says, I love Trump, I don't care. I assume you're referring to the start of the conversation, so maybe you've come in a bit live. Well, yeah, I try and stay out of politics, but it's already a strange start to the year, so I couldn't not mention it. But I agree with you, Stops. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, they try and pretend that this is somehow wholesome, and the entire thing, I agree with you, just sounds inherently sexual and in a quite unhealthy way, the way that they look at it, because just the fact that they think that all this would be necessary, because otherwise, basically, the man's going to jump on the woman or something like that. There's no self-control. There's so many elements to it why it's fucked up. But anyways, look, I think we've been running an hour and 20 minutes. I think we'll head towards a wrap up. I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun and taken my mind off wanting to have a cigarette. So this
excellent stuff.
Yeah, I
Stay
think
with it, man.
Stuff.
I'm very proud of you.
Well, I mean, say that check in with me next week, and hopefully I still would have stuck to it by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think So just to summarize, we've shown this some very creepy stuff in the hadiths, and Muslim Lantern looked like an idiot. Both him and Abbas were lying about it as usual. I like that Christian dude, I have to say. As I don't agree with his worldview, but he knows how to handle those EFDawah guys. So if anyone else sees anything with that guy arguing, maybe stick a link in, because I'd be quite happy to see if he's countering these guys anymore. Not doing his Christian apologetics, because obviously I'm not going to agree with that. But all right,
let me. It's important to stick to your guns, and he did that. It's very, very important.
I've got this. We'll finish off with this little troll comment, because this guy is constantly in the chat. You guys are scared. You guys are running. I'm not even sure this guy's a Muslim, because half of the trolling he was done, he was calling the Muslim Lantern the Muslim latrine. And yet, half the other time, he's saying things like, we're going to have Sharia in the UK, and Shamima Begum's coming back, and Aisha is going to win. So I think this is just an all-round troll that seems to have attached himself to my channel. But help with engagement. So, no, I'm not going to block you. I actually think this might be a sock account of a previous troll, whose name I can't remember. He used to troll the Gin and Tonic channel for about 10 years in a row, until I finally banned him, because while I was running it, he was just annoying. I'm thinking this might be a sock account of you're an ex-Muslim. You're only saying that because you know I'm very supportive of ex-Muslims. I don't believe you are an ex-Muslim. I just think you're a general troll. But you're lucky. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood for New Year, so I'll allow it. But
it's when you don't know whether it's serious or satire that you know, oops, what the hell is going on?
Well, as I say, half the time he sounds like an Islamist, and half the time he sounds like he's like insulting the EFDawah guys. So don't block me because my dark, sarcastic, dry humor. I'm not going to block you, as I say, unless you get out.
You don't know if it's satire or
if you get out of hand, obviously I'll have to give you an internet slap. But other than that, it's fine. No, I'm not going to ban him. Don't let him ban. No, it's fine. As I say, as long as trolls stay within reasonable limits.
Exactly.
To be honest, when trolls are actually genuinely funny, I can live with that. It's the low kind of effort trolling that annoys me. If you're going to do it, make it funny. So, anyways, with that little diversion,
okay, I'm going to head back into the Kaaba now, so that I can drink my beer in peace in there.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, all right. Well, we've done now in 23 minutes, so this is a good time to cut off. Everybody, thank you for joining in the chat. Thank you for everyone who's watching this later. I hope everyone's got a good new year. Just a quick mention. Sorry, my crankiness did prevent me from finishing my videos, but the new members only video will be up tomorrow. It is already set up to come out 8 p.m. tomorrow, and the next standard video for everyone should be on Tuesday. And I'll see you all for a live stream next Sunday. Take care, everyone.